You know what I mean? And you know who else has been rushing around? It's my first guest, and he's in the studio with me right now. And he's joining us. He's a creative entrepreneur, change maker, innovator with over 10 years experience. And he's also been a guest before, like I mentioned. His name is Bejay Mulenga MBE. He joined me back in March this year when he launched the new Creator Fellowship, a fully paid scheme helping 16 to 23-year-olds get into journalism and media roles. And now he's back to discuss even more. Bejay, how are ya?
Thank you for having me, man. Last time I was on a show, I was on the motorway in an Uber, going from one side to London to the other side. This time I've been on the tube and I'm actually in the studio. It's a pleasure to be here. Thank you for having me.
I'm glad you're here. Do you need to maybe slow down a little bit in life, or you like, no, I'm in this gear, we're go, go, go?
You know what? I think I'm a big fan of collaboration, and I like to remind everyone that behind every successful person or every moment, there's a team. So it might look like we're speeding up, but we've just been on this speed for a while, and it's like great people working around me and people I'm collaborating with that help me be in different places. That's A. And B, I take my Sundays very seriously, solo Sundays. I try not to put any activities in Sunday. I try to have like 2 or 3 nights a week where I'm just in a steam and sauna, having naps and just learning. So yeah, if I don't do them kind of things, I know that I'll burn out. And there's enough people who've been through that journey before who've showed me that there's a better way to kind of like chase your dreams, but also like look after yourself, mind, body and soul. So I try to live that.
Amen. Take your Sunday seriously.
And I know you've been on that vibe as well.
Yeah, well, definitely taking care of myself.
Taking them walks.
Because if I don't take care of myself, I can't take care of my business.
Exactly.
You know?
Yeah.
You know? Like I mentioned, in March, we had you on and we were speaking all about the new Creator Fellowship. Just because we're touching base back in the same space, how did it go?
You know what? It went surprisingly like much better than I expected. You know, when you put stuff out in the world and you have a vision, you don't know how people are going to react to it. Obviously, post-COVID, there's like so much stuff that people are involved in now, and people want to do stuff at home. Some people want to do stuff in real life. But we were overwhelmed with people that came in, and we managed to pick 30 people to support. Young people who were on the program are now finding jobs.
Oh, and this is because obviously the scheme, just to remind people listening at home, was about getting people into journalism.
Becoming like you.
Oh, well. So have we got the next generation of journalists?
We do. We've got people who've got jobs here at the BBC at times, people who are working on shows with me and my business partner, Seb. Like, I've got people just looking for opportunities and getting opportunities because they're building their portfolio. It went so well that actually next year I'm deciding that I'm not going to limit it to 30. We needed to go through that. But now I'm going to actually work on making it open to everyone as an online program for a period of months, and then open a scholarship. So if people want to do the accreditation bit, it can be funded by others. So just thinking of different ways to continue adding value is what we learned from the work we did this year. And it's also inspired me to just do other things to tell stories. So I started the year, I was very much Mr. Entrepreneurship, Mr. Connecting. And now I'm working on 2 documentaries, and I'm like, oh, I've now got an army of people who want to write, who want to research. Let's make our own stories. I think Munwa and Remy Bergs and Chunks and Philly are like all great examples of people who've like just innovated and kept doing things to the point that you now see them on TV, you see them commissioning their own shows, Eddie Caddy, Mo the Comedian. So I feel like there's no more rules to how you enter the media space. So being around all of the other people wanting to create has also inspired my creator bag as well.
And you know, you're jumping ahead as well because you're answering some of the questions I'm going to ask you. I just want to also just give a refresher to anyone that maybe didn't tune in March or has only heard of you for the first time now. Just give us an overall of what you do and how you got into it. Actually, why you're the person for this job.
Yeah, so I fell into my creative path as a creative entrepreneur at 12.
I can never get over that, you know.
Yeah,
entrepreneur
I couldn't
at
rap,
12.
I couldn't sing, I couldn't dance, but I could put people together. And once I clocked that, me and my friends were like, right, we're going to take over the talent show, which no one goes to. And we managed to sell it out. And then we sold another one out and a third one out. And putting on a show takes a lot of effort. You can't put a show on every day unless you're like obviously an adult. So at that age, I was like, you know what else can I do? So I went out and I worked at Youth Magazine. That's no longer here now, but I got a chance to interview local celebs. So I got pictures of me and Tinchy Strider, Pro Green, Chipmunk from like when I was 15. And these people became very normal to me, as in, oh, you got a story, ask them, pull it out. So I've basically just been on this journey of, yes, doing business, but I've always had a creativity arc to me. So there was these talent shows, I had a tuck shop, I was always interning at magazines. And over the last 10 years, so it's like 15 years actually, but 10 years from when I went permanent, when I finished college, I've had businesses in music. We've done shows at Jazz Cafe, we've done boat parties, Outlook Festival. I've had business in education. I've like trained over 50,000 people in courses from digital skills to entrepreneurship. Opened a food bank in the pandemic. We fed 35,000 people. And right now I'm building a media production business. We're calling it the Bloomberg for Gen Zs. It's called Blocks to Bags or B2B Ventures. And we basically do everything from live events where people can connect with investors and creators. So we have our own brunch day party. So rather than just going and meeting people to date, let's meet people to do business.
Yeah.
We then got our own Dragon's Den show called Bag Drop. So if you want to raise money, if you're looking for people to invest in, I'm like, pitch nights are not always fun. So let's actually put a live DJ in there while people are pitching, put an open bar in there, put food in there and get people to have conversation. So I'm always finding different ways to kind of like solve problems that mean something to me and ultimately mean something to my community. And as I said, collaboration is the secret to all of this. Every single business I've had, there's been someone I've collaborated with. And I wasn't born with these networks. So I put myself out there. I meet people, and social media now is such a great opportunity when it comes to meeting people. Like there's some friends I've made in real life, even myself and yourself. We follow each other for a while online. You meet people, and then over time, you just support each other, and then you just don't know. Like some people you do stuff with in the first couple of months, and some people it might take 7 years to do something with them. But there's beauty in the journey, like trust in the process.
Amen. And I feel like you sound very full of ideas, of energy, of love for what you do. What books do you read?
I think for me,
if you read books, or do you listen to podcasts?
Yeah, I do. So I have my own podcast called Blocks of Bags. I also like support other friends with their podcasts. So To My Sisters, a big podcast. I really love what they're about, support them a lot. And there's a few others. I think for me, when it comes to learning, I've said from very young, especially when I didn't go to university, education doesn't end in the four walls of that establishment. Like actually, education is a continuous path. So whenever I meet people, I'm like, oh, what are you reading at the moment? I just log it in. And then I'm always asking Google, and now you've got ChatGPT to ask questions for things I don't know the answers to. So when I'm building community, I'm like, oh, what's the best community building book out there? Or if I'm learning to like release music with an artist and try to make it viral, I'm looking at people who've written books on that matter. So I've just built a stack of different things. And I think the books that inspire me at the moment a lot is a book called The Perennial Seller by Ryan Holiday. And
Say that again.
The Perennial Seller.
Okay, because I am a person, I like to take lists of books that I need to buy or I want to read. So
there's that one. And then there's another book as well, where just gone out, The Power of Moments. Those two books are books that basically push you to think about making work that is generational, making work that's seminal. A lot of us are, trying to make it in life. And actually, there's beauty in making something that is so good that word of mouth just becomes your best marketing. So, right, I've got a media business. We're trying to do our own Dragon's Den. Rather than going and getting all the funding because we can't get that on day one, let's just do a really, really, really dope first event and pull in all the favors we can and document it and see what happens. Right, I want to do this fellowships. I want to help young journalists. I wish I had the funding to help hundreds of kids in the first year, but I said I got funding for 30. Let's make it the best experience for them. Let's give them mentoring. Let's give them support. Let's call favors. And now people are like, oh, I'll give you a placement. Like, how can you help? So there's something in making work that is at the root got all of the values and nutrients that people can just feel like, oh my God, I'm getting a bargain here.
Yeah.
Even though you're getting paid your fair exchange. And I feel like those two books are two good reminders that you should do that. So Power Moment always talks about kind of doing things in your experiences that are like things that people are going to remember. People don't always remember, what you said or how things look, but they always remember how you made them feel.
Or like they don't always remember what you were wearing.
Exactly.
And it's not every day that we just focus on the outfit and go somewhere and look cute. But then it's like, okay, I don't remember.
Exactly.
I remember how you made me feel.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
So if anyone's tuned in right now, we've got Bejay Mulenga MBE, creative entrepreneur with over 15 years experience, innovator, change maker. Let's talk about the youth club.
Yes.
So I saw it online recently that it looked like you just opened it, but you opened it in January.
Yeah, no, so it's going to fully open in Jan.
Right, okay, so tell us about this.
Yeah, so we've partnered with a really cool London-based funder called City Bridge Foundation. They fund a lot of local organisations to do stuff for the city. Obviously, London's where we're from. And as a lot of people know, if you're a parent or if you're an older sibling, there isn't much youth provision for kids after school at the moment. So I was like, well, look, we need to put something in because we just done the fellowship and I'm doing stuff in schools. I worked with 1,000 teenagers last year with my team and with visiting schools, and people are like, oh, where can I come after school? Where can I support? And we've been given the opportunity to run a weekly service into our hamlets. So we're popping up in all of these different derelict centres and creating these pop-up youth clubs. So essentially the youth club is all over the borough, and there's a microsite that's going live in a few weeks. And right now I'm just like going through the curriculum and figuring out what we're going to teach every week. Because I'm sure every kid wants to be a TikToker, but there's also people that want to be entrepreneurs. There's also people that want to do music. So I'm going to start with what we're doing really well right now, which is media. But the hope is to kind of bring in songwriting, bring in like even people doing stuff with 3D modeling, like making your own thing. I feel like it's these kind of things that shape your life. And if you think back to what I said earlier in the interview about me at 15 going in my school uniform to the youth club and not just doing the talent show, but starting to work on a magazine and interviewing these stars, it kind of played a role in like this light bulb moment in my eyes around what I could do. And the idea for me now is to find a CEO to run it long term, because it's bigger than me now. And I'm just looking forward to the next couple of months, putting the infrastructure in place, and then obviously just having something that over the next 2 to 3 years does something for a couple of kids. If I can change one person's life, I'm a happy man.
Yes, and the importance of youth clubs is just insane, because I think definitely like our generation, we had that luckily enough, and maybe we even took it for granted that we just kind of thought, we're kids, we want to go somewhere, we're not always going to be at home. And me, it was always the drama classes, all of that, and that's massively had an input into what I do now. I'm guessing you've done research around this. Do you know maybe why, or from what you've learned, why there's been such a lack of youth spaces?
So I think a big thing is, so me and my team at Blocks of Bags, we always talk about the fact that media is hard, like funding is hard. If you wait for government, you're going to be waiting for flavour of the month. And it was something that with the change of the rear guard, like up until 2010, it was Labour. A lot of the cuts started coming in from 2011, 2012. So we had austerity, we then had Brexit, we then had COVID. You know, budgets have been getting cut. If you look at the complaints about school meals, about NHS, do you think youth clubs are like more important than those two services? You know, I do, but then like we got to make cuts. So I understand that government couldn't fund it, and obviously it's local councils who all have their own jurisdiction. But I believe in the principle, the African principle of it takes a village to raise a child. It takes a village to raise a child. So if we see a problem in society, how do we link up as a community? What can small businesses do? Can we all put together 5K? Can we all put together 1K? Can we all give 500 hours? You know, it's not just about financial resource. Do we have spare rooms and spare buildings that are not being used in the evenings? Like, what does a youth club in 2024 look like? Does it have to be one building that every kid goes to all the time, or can it be a series of places people have access to? So we have to reimagine spaces, and I think we've done some really awesome things in London to reimagine retail. So there's now pop-up shops, there's pop-up markets, there's food markets all over. What are we doing to reimagine the youth club? What are we doing to reimagine podcasting, how people do documentaries? So that's been like the nature of my career. When I did a tuck shop, it was a question I thought we needed to answer. When I'm doing a youth club, same question, you know? So that's my vibe.
Yes, I love it. What does a youth club in 2024 look like? I love that. I think it could be amazing and sick. I'm guessing also in your role and in life, you probably give a lot of advice to people. And I've been asking listeners, what is a piece of advice that you've given out to other people that you need to take on board? Because, you know, sometimes we could give advice and maybe we're not the best at taking our own advice.
Yeah, so I'm definitely not the person who says focus on one thing, because I'm always working on so many things and I just enjoy things. But I think as you put yourself out there, there's going to be a lot of people who are going to be opportunity vampires, people that are going to give you things that look like good opportunities, but you need to have a framework in your own mind around whether it's a good opportunity or not a good opportunity. I found myself at different points in my life doing 5 things. Like, even for someone who's great at multitasking, if you're great at one thing and also exceptional at doing 2 things, by the time you do 5 things at the same time, your brain is being spread, so you're now doing average work. So I'm saying to myself, get used to the power of saying no, and actually have a framework around whether an opportunity is an opportunity you should pursue, an opportunity you can signpost to someone else, an opportunity you can just go and give some value, connect the dots and say, come back to me later. Like, not everything I need to fully be involved in. So it's been real hard because there's some really, really exciting things that I want to do that I won't talk about right now, but trust me when I say, like, the vibes don't done. There's always exciting things to do. But saying to Bej, like myself, like, hey BJ, like, what can you say no to? Like you need time to recover. You need time to rest. And that's what I'd be saying to people. I was like, do 3 things if you can, do 2 things, but make sure there's allocation of time for recharge. Make sure there's allocation of time for play. Make sure there's a allocation of time for learning, and make sure there's allocation of time for friendship and family, because that kind of mix is very, very helpful for everyone. Because I'm not a big fan of hustle culture. Like, everything that's happening to me, happening to people around me that is real positive, it's come with grace. It's come with a grace of the stack of friendships you built, the stack of hours of people wanting to support and uplift you. Like, even me being here on the station is because I didn't just come on the station once. Like, I made sure to connect with you after. I connected with everyone who spoke about the stuff earlier in the year, to the point where when I'm doing the next thing, they're like, oh, what's up next? Like, can we talk? It's not, there's no big management or PR behind all of this. It's authentic relationships. And that comes from doing the things that's unscalable. And you can't do that if you're too spread thin.
Yeah, you can't. And I think you mentioned it earlier, having those core values, and it always just going back to that and doesn't make sense. And sometimes your no is a not right now. You know what I mean?
Exactly. Yeah.
We're going to have to wrap up because I need to play a track before the news. But really quickly, we're going to play Break My Soul, Beyonce. I'm feeling that vibe now. You've just given some great advice that I think everyone can take on board. So we've got to just, rejoice that afterwards. But before that, where do we go to find you, follow you? I feel like you need to list the many hats that you have.
Yeah, I have different hats. So if you are a founder or an investor and you're looking to get support, whether it be raise money or find people who are doing interesting things, just search Bagdrop on YouTube, and Bagdrop, which is connected to Blocks to Bags, so Blocks to Bags, and you'll find my face there, and you'll find my team. We've got hella events next year around the world, especially in London. We're going to be doing loads more venues. If you're a parent, older sibling, or a young person that wants to tap into the youth club, type in The Student View. That's a charity that's running the youth club and the youth services. We do stuff in schools and out of schools, so it doesn't have to just be in the neighborhood. We can come to your school as well if you request. And then if you're looking to just support me on my journey and just give me flowers or let me know what you want to see from me next, if you just look at the title of the show, just type my name, Bejay Mulenga. I'm the first thing you see online, so that's me. But I wish everyone a happy Christmas and happy New Year, and let's get it. Yes, well, thank you so much. And I'm going to be giving you your flowers. You're doing an amazing job, and I can't wait to see how all of this progresses. So thank you.